Hi, Skids Tweak here. Today we're going to take a look at the TMat. Now I tried to get this to all fit into a 10-minute video, but I had to break it up into two parts. So the first part we're going to look at adding content and interacting with thumbnails, and then the second part we're going to take a look at all the menus. So what is the TMat? The TMat is an in-world organizer. It's specifically made to organize items that you're going to use when building. For example, the TMat can organize your textures, your animations, your sounds, and your sculpties. So the first thing we're going to look at how to add content into the TMat. I gotta say, this is probably the most important subject since, well, it can't organize your stuff if you can't get stuff in there. And I made this really easy. I've actually made several ways you can get content into a TMat. So let's look at each one. So the first way to add content into your TMat is you right-click, you edit, go over to the Content tab, and then open up your inventory and just drop some textures in there. Now, what happens next is your TMat, it'll prompt you, it'll say, please continue to add textures or wait for further instructions. I'm going to go ahead and wait now for the further instructions, and as you can see, it's now showing me the textures that I just dropped in, and it's asking me to choose a folder. I'm going to just pick this folder right here, and as you can see, it's moving the content to that folder. There you go. That's how easy it is to add textures to the TMat. Now, the second way to get content into your TMat is you click the control panel, and from the menu, you choose Unpack Script. This is a script you can actually drop inside of a box that has a bunch of textures or animations, sounds, or sculpties. And then what you do is you just touch it, and from the menu it gives you, you choose TMat, and then you choose a folder on your TMat, and all the items will move right into that folder. This is also great for migrating from old texture organizers. You can actually take the Unpack script, drop them into its folders, touch that folder, and then migrate it directly over to the new TMat. Now that's two of the most popular ways to move content into the TMat, but there's others, and we're going to cover those along other subjects. Right now, I want to move into thumbnails and how all you can interact with a thumbnail. So first off, what do I mean by thumbnails? Thumbnails are these blocks here in the center that display your texture, your sculpting, sound, or animation. And there's several different ways you can interact with them. For example, to select a thumbnail, all you do is you touch it. It'll get this yellow border around it. To unselect it, you just touch it again. Now, another way you can interact with thumbnails is you can click and hold. Wait a few seconds, and then release. When you do this, you go into a detailed view where you can get your current permissions, next owner permissions, the texture name, even the profile picture of the person who created it, and a little bit of text from their profile as well. To get out of this view, you just click into the thumbnails and it'll go back to normal. Yet another way you can interact with thumbnails is you can double click them. Now, depending on what type of content you double click, different things happen, and we're going to look at each one if we have time in this video. For example, when you double click an animation, you get a pose stand where you can stand on and preview the animation. Now, to get out of this view, all you do is you click Done from any of the menus. And the last way you can interact with thumbnails is you can select several of them, and then with your mouse on the thumbnail, you click and drag it over the top of a folder, and release your mouse, and it'll move those items into that folder. This is a great way to organize your content of your TMat. Now, I said earlier, if we had time, we'd take a look at all the different content types, what happens when you double click them. So let's do that now. Here I'm double clicking a texture. You can see I can rescale on the right hand side and on the top. I can click Give, Name, Key, Slide, which starts up the slideshow, Hide, which will hide the interface. I can also click the next buttons to move to the next thumbnail, and then when I'm finished I can click Done. With sounds, it's very similar, except for I can also adjust the volume. With Sculpties, there's no prim menu, but there is this dialog menu where you can do a lot of the exact same things. You can give, name, key. You can also change the texture and the shape. And finally, with the animations, as I alluded to earlier, it creates this nice pose stand. You can apply common animations alongside of whatever animation is being displayed when you're sitting on it, like fly, sit, or away. This just allows you to see what that animation would look like alongside the animation being displayed. Okay, real quick before we finish up part 1, let's take a quick look at search and trash. Now when you click search, you get a menu. Now on the menu you can see show, and you can choose the type of search you want to perform: texture, sound, or animation. When you choose show, it'll show you the last search performed. After that, this little search icon acts just like a folder. You can use the top bar or click it again to get a folder menu. This is a great way to organize your items as well. Perform a search on them and then copy them out of the search into a folder of their own. If you choose to do a search on one of the inventory types, it'll prompt you to say whatever that search is. Here's an interesting note: you can search by the creator's name. But remember, when doing a search by the creator's name, it is case sensitive. Okay, the trash can. Everything that's ever deleted in the TMat is always sent to the trash can. Now when you click the trash can, you get a menu and you get 3 choices: show, delete, and empty. When you click show, it's going to show you all the items in the trash can, and after that it starts to act just like every other folder. You can copy things out of it, move things out of it. Choosing delete is just like clicking delete on the top bar or from the folder menu, and we're going to be covering that in the next part. And empty does just what you think it would do. It empties the trash can. Well, I think that about does it for part 1. Be sure to watch part 2 of this video. We're going to be going through all the menus and discussing them. You'll find a link to part 2 in the credits coming up. In the meantime, remember, if you have any questions or problems with any of this, give me an IM. My name's Skids Tweak. Until next time, happy building!